The predictable downfall of the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the predictable downfall of the narcissist, you're figuring out now that, yeah, it was predictable because these people burn everybody out that they encounter, and they also burn themselves out. You see, the narcissist thinks it's going to be a lifetime of supply for them. Remember when you were younger, maybe even right now, you go to all-you-can-eat buffets. Well, see, that's what the narcissist thought on this planet called Earth. It would be a non-stop buffet of supply, and everybody would be there at their beck and call to do whatever the narcissist wanted, no matter how hurt they got or no matter how much it didn't benefit them. And this is how the narcissist ran the planet for quite a long period of time. You'll notice I've touched on that topic for the past couple weeks because it is completely true. They ran as in past tense. They're not running the planet much longer. And the narcissist knows their days are numbered. And they also know that people are becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And the narcissist will always, and I mean always, shoot themselves in the foot, overplay their hand, or always implode themselves. What do you think a narcissistic injury is? A narcissistic injury is when the narcissist can't handle the truth, and it's when they don't get their way. And unlike a petulant child, who maybe pouts and cries and complains and holds their breath for a couple minutes until they realize that it's not benefiting them, they're only punishing themselves, then they wake up, and my hope is they grow up and develop properly like I did and you did. But unlike them, the narcissist will continue to hold their breath. But they won't ever change and be accountable. They're going to punish anyone who gets too close to them. And they're going to blame anybody under the sun for their own misgivings, for their own fault, for their own lack, and for their own circumstances. And so the inevitable downfall of the narcissist, this is happening right now. As you are consuming this content and I'm creating it, the narcissistic infrastructure that has been built all around the planet, it's crumbling. It's falling down like a house of cards. You may not see it the way I see it, but you can certainly sense in your part of the world, meaning wherever you live, whatever jurisdiction, town, city, state, country, province you live in, if you've gone no contact, you know that your life has changed, right? It has. My life has changed also immensely over the last 6 years. And on top of that, many other people's lives that I've had the ability to touch and to help and motivate, their lives have changed also. When those people, and you are one of those people, when you heal and heal properly, then that makes us, the collective consciousness, much stronger. The stronger we get, we, as in the empaths, the kind, loving, stable people, the weaker the narcissist gets, the weaker they get, the less control they have. The less control they have, the more temper tantrums and rage fits and pouting and complaining and holding their breath they will do. But eventually what will happen? They will have to fall in line with this thing called New Earth. Now, I'm not going to go down the New Earth category. I just used that as an illustration for this video, which is things are changing. And you had better get on that wave of abundance and the wave of authenticity like I am, because that wave is growing every single day. It's a tsunami, if you will, a tsunami of abundance. It's a tsunami of growth, of positivity, a positive change in direction, and there's no room on that tsunami wave. By the way, this tsunami wave is an illustration. It's huge. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. There's no room on that wave for narcissism or the narcissists or toxic people or people who are faking it. The narcissist essentially is that. They are one big fake. They're a con artist. They're a grifter. They're a used car salesperson in the old days, not today. They're a clown in a circus of abuse. They're a fraud. They're a sham artist, and they know what they're doing. They also know that they're going to get what's coming to them, not only on this planet called Earth, because when they run out of supply, they have to experience those narcissistic injuries, but it's not just them. It's when you go no contact. The same thing happens to them, and I'm glossing over this part of the video. But they also know in the afterlife, wherever they go, it's not going to be a pleasant experience for them. But the narcissist realizes that the clock is ticking for them. Father Time and the Grim Reaper are lurking right around the corner, staring at the narcissist, waiting to collect the debt of the agreement that they had years ago. Kind of toxic, isn't it? Well, it is. Aren't you right now thanking God that you're not a narcissist? That's exactly what you should be doing. Because the narcissist is not, and I mean not, a pretty sight to see. They are only going to get more and more decrepit. They're going to continue to get wrinkles, gray hairs, age, fall apart at the seams, and they will implode more and more often. This is what you're seeing around the planet. Think about the news. What is the news these days? Well, the news these days is more graphic and horrifying and spectacular and sensational, and a lot of it is made up than it ever was before. Why do you think that is? Well, because the news sells. Why do you think that people who have healed or who are healing, or certainly people who are out of the narcissistic relationship for any period of time, why do you think we don't watch news? Why do you think we don't really care about politics? Why do you think we don't care about Hollywood, etc.? Because we have bigger fish to fry. We're not in the everyday fog any longer. Our lives were turned upside down. Our lives were almost destroyed. So we can't sit back and grab a bucket of popcorn, sit in the third row of a movie, whatever the latest movie is these days, and act like everything's come by and just disappear for 2 hours or whatever movies are these days and say, wow, that was great. Now back to reality. No, see, our whole experience on this planet called Earth, including and specifically in reference to the period of time when we were trapped in that narcissistic cycle, we couldn't catch our breath. That was anything but fun, anything but enjoyable. It was punishment being peppered with abuse day in and day out, week after week. And so that changed us forever, which is why many of us don't have the ability to just be commonplace people and sit around and talk about the weather and who their favorite Hollywood actor is and what so-and-so is thinking about this, because the wheels are going to keep spinning around on this planet called Earth. And what you need to be doing, which is what I'm doing, is control what you can control. Focus on yourself. Understand you are the priority. You come first, second, and third, and do what you can do to help and benefit those loved and trusted ones around you. But while you're doing what you need to be doing, the rest of the population, I am not referring to narcissists, and I'm not referring to people who are healing. I'm referring to people in the everyday fog. They're just living their life. They're buying all the tickets to the movies, and they're attending the vacations and doing what they're doing. And I hope to God that those people never, and I mean never, encounter the apex predator, the narcissistic creature, but they will. And unfortunately, if they don't have the wisdom, it will derail their life, if only for a few minutes, a weekend, a week, a month, a year, decade, or longer. But that's why once you get the wisdom, you need to apply the tools. You need to close the chapter of the book on the narcissist like that. And I didn't do it loud because some of you go to sleep with my videos, which I think is absolutely amazing and beautiful. So I'm not going to make a noise to wake you up. But what I'm sharing with you is the inevitable downfall of the narcissist. This was going to happen over and over and over again in the narcissist's life. And here's why. One, they never learn. They never learn how to be accountable or introspect. They can't be genuine. They're not honest. They're not transparent. And they're definitely not committed. They took everything that you possessed because they don't possess those things. And they wanted you to not only not possess them, but they didn't want you to exist. Now, fast forward. If they did that with you, which is what they did, and they did it with me, and they did it with other people, think of all the damage one narcissist can do on this planet. That's an awful lot, which is why when you do your part and go no contact like I have and so many other people have, then you've done what you should do and what you can do and what you need to do to benefit yourself and the rest of the planet. But as you have gone no contact and blocked them, just like I have, the narcissist is still scouring the earth. They're still slithering around looking for supply sources. And they're finding those supply sources harder and harder to discover or to unearth because of what you've done and I've done. And that will continue to get more and more difficult for the narcissist to control people like they used to. And the narcissist knows their days are numbered. But the inevitable downfall of the narcissist, think about this. Think about when you were a kid. Maybe you would be watching somebody in school and somebody would be picking on somebody. Maybe it was a bully. Let's use the schoolyard bully. Say you were in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, whatever. Maybe you were in high school, I don't know, but let's go younger. And there was a bully who maybe failed 1, 2, 3 classes above you, but was now stuck in your class. Let's say it was 6th grade. And this bully was the size of an 8th grader. They were huge. But what were they doing? They were picking on the weak kids in your class, maybe even you. And then you were watching the bully other students because they could, and that's what the bully does until they don't. And you were saying, just once, just one time. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Someone's got to clobber that guy, that bully. And guess what happens? Of course, you don't lift a finger because you don't need to. And this is when you're in 6th grade as a hypothetical example. But maybe someone else does. Maybe someone their size. Maybe someone their size that's in a grade lower than you were. Maybe they were in 5th grade, but they were big for their age. And maybe they said, you know what? Let's you and I go you and I go in the lunch yard for a couple rounds and see what happens. Maybe the 5th grader did some damage. Now, again, I don't condone this. I'm saying when you were kids and something like this may have happened and maybe you saw it, maybe you experienced it. Maybe the little fifth grader knocked out the sixth grader. Again, I don't wish ill will on anybody, and that includes with kids or anything. I'm giving you an illustration. And what would happen? Well, the bully then now has two shiners, maybe even a busted up nose and a fat lip. And what do? They don't go to school for a couple weeks. Why? Because they can't handle the mockery or being bullied or being taunted themselves because they got what was coming to them. See what happens? Apply that hypothetical example with the narcissist, without the physical violence, of course. But the narcissist is going to get what's coming to them. Every time somebody says this word to the narcissist, and the word is this, no, what do you think happens? Well, there you go. There's a little narcissistic injury to the narcissist. They can't fathom it. They can't wrap their head around how somebody could have the gall, the courage, the boundaries, the fortitude, the strength, and the wisdom to say no to them. No is the strongest word in the English language. When you say no to something or someone, specifically the narcissist, you are saying yes to yourself. And you need to close the chapter of the book on the narcissist and all toxicity. And as you're doing that, you will understand that, yeah, the inevitable was going to happen. The narcissist was going to get what's coming to them. They most likely didn't get what was coming to them when they were with you. But if they did, well, then that's when it happened. It most likely happened or will happen down the road as the narcissist gets more and more aged, as they continue to fumble through life and continue to look for people to do things for them, and those supply sources are drying up more and more and more. And eventually the narcissist will overplay their hand again, and eventually, as I've shared for years in videos, the narcissist will be looking at themselves in a cracked mirror with 7 years bad luck. 7 years bad luck. And they will say, what happened? I used to be so glamorous. I used to have all the looks, all the charm. Now my skin is sagging, my eyelids are drooping, I'm super gray, I have no money. I'm staying at a friend's house who isn't even a friend. It's actually a recycled source of supply that I'm love bombing, so they let me stay there for a couple weeks. And I don't have a plan on how to get where I'm going because I don't know where I'm going and I don't know what to do. These are the kind of things the narcissist will say over and over and over again. Now, you may be saying, well, not so fast, Andrew. The narcissist, I know they have a lot of money and they're living their best life. Well, they may have a lot of money because they probably stole it from you, but they're not living their best life. The narcissist doesn't know how to live their best life. What they know how to do is to steal other people's best lives, which will give them supplies so they can act like they're living their best life. The narcissist is never, and I mean never, going to be satiated. They're never going to be happy or satisfied. What the narcissist is going to do is continue to ignore their losses and chalk up as many wins in their tiny little pea brain, or act like they've been winning the whole time, I should say, and continue to tell everybody how important they are, how amazing they are, and how everyone needs them and wants them, and how all their exes can't get over them and all these things. Well, truth of the matter is, you now know. You didn't know this years ago, neither did I, but now you know. That's all rhetoric. That's all the narcissist getting out a paintbrush and trying to paint their whole life in a complete fabricated way. And we believed it until when? Until we didn't. When we didn't, that's when we finally got the wisdom and we closed the chapter of the book on that person. And that's when we began to heal and understand that not everything is how it appears to be on the planet. And at the top of that list, of course, is the narcissist. But the inevitable downfall of the narcissist, I've shared it for years, I'll share it again. It's happened with them way before you met them. You just didn't know it because they didn't see it and they won't tell you. It happened when you were with them. Think about when you weren't with them. Where were they? Well, you will never know where they were when you weren't with them, because even when you were with them, you'll never know where they were because they were checked out. Play that part of the video multiple times. I will slow down how I'm talking before I get ready to close the video. All of this video in a nutshell means this. The narcissist will continue to overplay their hands. They will continue to get older. They will continue to get worse. They will continue to struggle to find places to hide. They will continue to struggle to find fuel sources or supply sources. They will continue to have avenues of communication shut on them. And they will continue to look in the mirror, which is cracked with 7 years bad luck, and say to themselves, wow, it really didn't have to be this way. And everything I've done has been self-imposed. I've shot myself in the foot over and over and over again. My first husband or wife, I'm going to be really blunt with all of you, or graphic. If you don't want this, put the trigger warning aside. I'm acting like the narcissist and I'm not. But they could say things like this. Yeah, my first husband or wife, they're not with us. They're dead. And maybe I contributed to that, if you get my point, meaning the toxicity they couldn't handle. Husband or wife number 2, who I divorced, I stole all their money and they're clueless. They're walking around like a zombie. Husband or wife number 3, they never figured it out and they're still texting me or calling me. And again, I stole all their money and they will do anything for me because they have no idea who I am. Husband or wife number 4, this person discarded me after 2 weeks after we were married and we were in the Bahamas or Bermuda somewhere, and they wised up and figured out they caught me cheating in the bathroom when I had one of my 3 smartphones and I was stringing along other people, and they saw me do that and they said, nope, seen this rodeo before, I'm out. And then the 5th or 6th husband or wife, whatever number I'm on, that's the person I'm working on right now. I better get my A game and try my best to keep that person around as long as possible because I'm getting older. These are the things the narcissist says. Now, again, I am not saying if you, the healthy, stable person, have been married 2, 3, 4, 6 times that you're the narcissist. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you need to understand that people show you who they are, usually early on. In the beginning, when you met the narcissist, they were wearing a mask. You did not trust your instincts or your intuition. You did not pay attention to red flags. You ignored them. And look where it got you. Got you the same place it got me. In a toxic, one-sided relationship from hell that we had to heal from. Those days are over. We've healed. Now, once we know what we didn't know back then, now we apply the tools and we understand, yeah, toxicity is everywhere. It's all around you. It's all around me. But now that you have boundaries, you maintain them, you adhere to them, and you implement them. And that will help you immensely going forward. But as you've healed or you are healing, the narcissist is still stuck in that low vibrational quagmire state, going around and around and around. And they're just searching for for more supply sources that are recycled or that are new. And many times the narcissist meets a bigger narcissist or a toxic person, and then they really get what's coming to them. You may think it doesn't happen. It happens way more than you will ever know. That's why you need to understand one thing. The narcissist will continue to overplay their hand. It's inevitable. They will continue to fall apart. It's inevitable. They will continue to need supply sources. It's inevitable. And the narcissist will never, and I mean never, miraculously wake up and become original, become transparent, become honest, authentic, genuine. They don't have the ability to love. They know how to steal it. They don't have any empathy. They know how to take it. They don't have any ideas of their own. They know how to commandeer those from other people. The narcissist is not changing anytime soon. Never going to happen. The only thing that changes on this planet is you. And when you do your part, you help me and you help all of the rest of us who have already done our part. The more we all do our part, the less places the narcissist has to go. And that's the way this world is spinning right now. So jump on that avalanche or jump on that tsunami wave of abundance and the tsunami of authenticity. There's enough room for you and anyone, and I mean anyone, who has been trapped in a narcissistic abusive cycle and who is out and who is healing, because we are paving the path forward. We are groundbreaking and trend-setting. We are the trailblazers to enlightenment, to prosperity, to the future, and yes, to the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Understand a couple things before I close it. One, the narcissist will inevitably discard anybody if that person doesn't do what the narcissist wants, or once that person is so beaten down they have nothing left to offer. The next thing you need to understand is you really need to go no contact. If you've identified that the person you're considering is toxic, what are you waiting for? You really need to start benefiting yourself. And number 3, please understand this part of the message. If you don't play the video multiple times, and you need to and you should, play this part and play it hundreds of times. When you go no contact with the narcissist, plural or singular, you are doing your part to help out yourself, those loved and trusted ones around you, and humanity. That's what I've done. As I've done my part and you do your part, it gets easier for other people to do their parts. Yeah, they have their own internal battle. Yes, they have a learning curve. Yes, they have a lot to go through. I get it. I had to do the same thing. But if they see that you've done it and I've done it and other people have done it, it will make it easier for them to do it. That's why we are changing the planet. That's why we are growing, evolving, ascending, and we have a purpose. We have a calling. We have a direction, and it is as far away from the narcissists, plural, as possible, as soon as we possibly can. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.